Pinks, let's talk about the fucking Celtics and the fucking basketballs.
Alright guys, welcome back to Tommy Points, your premier Celtics talk show, brought to you by Chasing Rings, the podcast. Guys, last time we spoke, we were going into the stretch of the back-to-back Atlanta games, the Denver, blah, 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 and we've seen this nightmare consistently where Kemba doesn't play on back-to-backs.
Or he shoots 1 of 15.
Or 1 of 15. But 2 weeks in a row, we get Atlanta on a back-to-back after bigger, harder matchups, and we lose to Atlanta because Kemba sits. It's been really hard to watch, but we finished last week on a 4-0 stretch. Kemba, I believe, played all 4 of them. It was really, really encouraging to see going into this All-Star break. Let's talk about some of the highlights of the last couple weeks. One, we've seen Kemba, Jalen, and Jason really start to click. We've seen Brad actually change lineups game to game. And it's been interesting. Grant Williams had a call, was it 2 or 3 nights ago? And all of a sudden, what did Grant have? 11 or 13 points, something like that? He had 3 threes. You know, I still don't think he's going to be a huge factor, but there was a stretch when it was Pritchard, Semi, Rob Williams, and Neesmith only, and now we're seeing Jeff Teague get inserted. Grant Williams got inserted. He's trying to, and I don't know if Brad's feeling matchups or if he's just trying to guess and get lucky. You know, putting Grant Williams in a game, I would never say is the right decision, but it did work that game.
He's still tinkering, but it feels like there's more of a purpose this time as to that one game where he threw literally like the 12 players. It feels like he's got more of a rhythm this time.
So let me ask you guys this, where I think we're 34 games in total.
Yep.
I think it's 34. 34 games total.
30.
Neesmith has only played 36?
19 and 17 and 36.
36, sorry, can't do math. So 36 games. Aaron Neesmith has only had an appearance in half of them. Robert Williams' minutes are still way too low for me, in my opinion. What are some other things that are really standing out to you? And I don't want to talk about individual performances. I want to talk about coaching standpoint. What are some things that are standing out to you right now that are hurting this team or even helping this team?
I mean, the Teague previously being DNPs was mind-blowing to me. The fact that he's actually in the mix now and like he's performing well, like that's
he's been good.
Basically, if you've seen any of the conferences with Brad talking about Teague, he's basically saying like Teague wasn't playing how he wanted to. It's like you didn't fucking play him, and you also played him in the worst lineups ever. Like it didn't make sense. So I go back to one of the statistics I looked at a while ago, which is like how often like Teague has played with the starters and how successful that lineup has been, and it's very rare. So I think that falls on Brad, but I'm excited to see T get some playing time right now. And also Rob.
I wonder if Brad almost sent him a message to say like get yourself right, and then like
the message should be for Brad to play him in the correct scenario.
I agree though, he should be playing more. Yeah, because you can't throw him out with all of the bench guys there, because he was doing all bench before where he was going Grant, Semi, Carson sometimes. Sense, Carson hasn't played in like 3 weeks, I feel like.
Which is fine. I don't care about...
He's the odd man.
Yeah, Carson, Waters, Javonte Green, Taco Fall, like they're dead to me. I don't care.
There for energy or blow. It's like that's
so spot minutes, that's fine. I 100% agree that with Teague playing with starters, and we've seen these all small lineups. There has been a few stretches over the last week that we saw Kemba, Teague, and Pritchard on the floor with Robert Williams and Tatum or something like that. And I'm like, this is kind of interesting because they're super fast. Kemba, Pritchard, and Teague all have great defensive hands. None of them are great defensive players, but they strip guys like no other.
Pritchard is all effort.
Yeah. And, so we're seeing things like that. I like that Brad is getting a little more creative and innovative with the lineups, and it might not always work, but at least he's trying.
I don't want that.
What?
I don't want creativity.
Right now.
Set 10.
Right now.
It's very easy to be a coach in basketball. You have 10 players that you play consistently.
This isn't boys club, okay? I know, like,
basketball has not changed since it was created in Springfield.
But he still has his core group. Like, Rob is playing every game now. I agree with Vic.
He still plays Rob poorly.
Not enough minutes.
I don't really Rob poorly, though.
Rob is dominating every game he plays, and
he should play more. I was
start.
I was against it at the beginning of the year. Rob Williams should be the starting center on the Celtics, 100%.
I think come playoff time, though, I think Brad is still.
Playoff time is going to get worse.
First of all, there's still like 30 games left. Okay, so it's
we're right. We might not even make the playoffs.
The way that rough patch goes, where they lost 14-20, it feels like we've watched like 4 seasons this year.
Yeah.
But we have to remember that there is like still like half the season to go. So like I think Brad is really finalizing. This year is all about finalizing.
I love your confidence.
But I think he knows Brad is not Brad. He knows Rob is a lock now. But yeah, his names need to go up.
Does he though? What is
But Tice has been hot too. So like the other, I forget what game it was. A couple nights ago.
What is it?
What was the game? Was it Toronto?
Yes.
They were down like 8 or whatever.
16.
Yeah.
Tice literally had like 4 or 5 buckets in a row where he brought them back in that game. So he was playing Tice more than Rob that night because Tice had it going.
He's averaging
like the hot
16
hand.
minutes.
Which I like.
Yes. No.
But yeah, Rob. I mean,
But then Tice only played 7 minutes the other night, so I
It's
didn't.
so weird. It's
What
like
was-
I'm not concerned with the bigs. Like
No.
I still
It's a
like
strength.
Tristan. I think Tice has been very improved player. Like he's in the running for most improved player in the league, man.
That like little but that little 10-foot jumper has been really
The 10-foot
nice.
jumper. He's been way more like
she's
ready to shoot. Like he's prepared to shoot the ball now. He's not hesitating, which
So-
we saw, which drove me
bubble.
nuts in the playoffs.
in the bubble. Yeah.
Nuts.
The last 4 games with Robert Williams, 23, 22, 18, and 22 minutes.
Oh, good.
So that I like
Game
it.
winning streak.
It's trending the right direction. Against the Raptors, Thompson played 24, Rob played 23, so I think that's trending the right direction.
Yeah.
But you look at things like, okay, in 23 minutes, he had 3 blocks, 10 points, 7 rebounds, and assists. Now, if that goes up to 28, 29, 30 minutes, that's probably
That's a starting center.
16 points, 11 rebounds,
Just
5
say-
blocks. And I
He's
know that's...
blocking anything on the floor.
It doesn't matter where he's...
The lobs too. It's like the easiest fucking.
They could
thing
run
in the
that play.
world, man.
First of all, I don't know why they don't. They could literally run a lob to him every play and it would probably work.
Play, man.
That play...
It's so funny that everyone forgot about it, and then they're like, "Oh wow, Rob, look how letting
Yeah.
Rob is. We
Especially
should do that
Twitch.
every game." It's
Yeah.
just like
When Marcus Smart comes back, he's gonna be throwing.
Well,
the
that's
ball.
why.
100%, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why I love Blake Griffin coming off the bench with Robert Williams and Pritchard. It would be unreal. So,
Yeah.
so I look at like the play of the year was the last game. Robert Williams blocks a shot. Tatum saves it out of bounds. Hits Kemba. Kemba makes a great bounce pass. Or Grant Williams makes a great bounce pass to Kemba, and then Kemba throws a 30-foot
It
lob
was
to
like an
Rob.
all-star game lob.
Like you literally saw Rob block the shot and catch the rebound all in this one transition. He is
Yeah.
sprinting
It's
the
like
floor.
you saw them play basketball.
My favorite
Holy
part
crap,
of
yeah.
my favorite part of the broadcast has been Scal and Mike like reacting because like some of these like they don't even throw
Oh,
near the rim.
wow.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Rob will reach back and I'm like, oh my god.
And he's
Like,
6'9".
Yeah,
Robert Williams is
touches the top of the
He's
backboard.
disgusting.
They
Yeah.
call him a freaky athletic or like sneaky athletic. He's not sneaky athletic at all. He's just
No,
straight
he's just
athletic.
Time Lord is now just him stopping time in midair. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it. That's
And
what it
he's
is.
a good free throw
Definition.
shooter. He hasn't taken as many outside shots, not threes, but like 12,
He's confident
15
in his
footers.
jumper, though.
He's very
Hold on.
confident. He
He's been
doesn't
our
take.
most improved player for
Yeah.
this season, 100%.
Yeah, I mean he's absolutely a factor. I would love to see him starting, but was it you guys who brought it up, or did I hear it on the radio? Someone made a point that the Clutch Sports Agency with what's his name, something Paul.
Jake Paul.
No, it's LeBron's friend started.
sounds familiar.
LeBron funded the agency for his friend, and his friend is basically the newest and hottest NBA agent. Tristan Thompson is one of his clients. So people are saying there might be concern that if you start messing with Thompson, whether you're coming off the bench or potentially trading him, then now you're crossing yourself off from that guy's client list.
That's
That
ridiculous.
can't
But
be a
that's-
factor, though.
That's ridiculous.
Stop it! How can you say
No,
that?
no, I'm just saying that's
It's ridiculous.
That's it,
But look
yeah.
at the NBA. The NBA is controlled by the players,
Oh, yeah.
but more than any other league. So think about it. You piss off Thompson, this agent says, hey, unless you're desperate to go to the Celtics, fuck them. We don't work with the Celtics.
Wait, sorry, what I meant to say
It's
is
scary.
Wonderful.
But it's
I mean,
100%.
we already have GMs not working with us. Why would we?
Exactly.
what I meant to say is that I don't like that it's a factor. Not that it isn't
Yeah.
a factor. It's,
Yeah.
it's
But here's the thing. We've seen so many guys in the
Celtics gonna be held
NBA
hostage.
that
That's
win the
awesome.
six-man award, averaging 22, 23 points a game. You're like, why is he coming off the bench? Because it works.
Yeah.
So Robert Williams coming off the bench, if he's playing as many minutes or more than Thompson, that's fine.
Guess who's? You said Blake Griffin. I want Eric Gordon. I want to score off. The
Yeah,
bench.
like
I
an
need to
Eric
score
Gordon.
off the
Yeah,
bench.
I would love Eric Gordon too.
Especially since Smart's coming back, and I mean, I can see Smart starting, like in any scenario. Like I can see him starting, but I prefer him off the bench. But at the same time, do I? Because he was averaging 6 assists.
they've been rolling
Like
with
their starting
the,
lineup would be crazy.
they've been rolling with Twin Towers, the Jays, and Kemba,
And it works.
which
It
is
works.
I think their best lineup.
Definitely.
So-
yeah, but Smart was in there at point guard before.
But I like his
Without
Kemba.
Kemba.
Yeah, but with Kemba now as another.
So you go Tatum at the 4 and you go small again?
Yeah.
But I would like
I can-
Smart
I
off
can
the
see it
bench
happen.
because
I
I
can see
think
it
Okay, do it with Robert Williams. Who can actually block shots, who
Yeah.
can actually be an offensive threat
And then
consistently.
Twin Towers is the second lineup.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
in that way I'd
We
be
don't want
okay
to
with
upset
this.
Tristan though. So
Yeah, you're right.
so. To me, I'm gonna miss this. Sorry, but I would go Twin Towers. So I would go Kemba, the Jays, the Twin Towers, which is, as if anyone doesn't know, Tristan Thompson and Daniel Tice, and then off the bench when Smart's back, then you have Rob and Smart coming off, and then you have an electric bench. So then the starters are resting, and then you just switch, and then you have great.
And then you trade for Eric Gordon to have a score off the bench, and then Teague's the point guard. But like that lineup that's 9 solid players right there. That's a fucking rotation.
I know. And honestly, we have seen, as negative as we want to be, we've seen Semi. This is the best Semi has ever looked in his career.
Oh, yeah.
So give him a little credit. He's been inconsistent,
I've been waiting for it.
but the confidence is there. He used to be sitting in the corner. Now he's catching and shooting.
Yeah.
Grant Williams.
Semi's driving in the basket.
No.
Yeah.
You're right. Semi's kind of doing it all, and he's not. I don't think he's as good defensively as we thought he would be. He's just physical, which is also okay. But that's also Tristan Thompson. Mm-hmm. Thompson's not good defensively. He's just physical. Mm-hmm. So I like some things we're seeing. Grant Williams, he showed some flashes early in the season and had a lot of DNPs, and then last game he was phenomenal.
It pisses me off so much.
You know, because he was my X factor during the season.
X factor too.
I wanted to start at the 4, and but obviously that's not working right now. But I like that. If it's 1 every 5 games, give him another chance like that, because depending who's out of the rotation and things like that in matchups.
The bench is such a cluster.
It is right now. We hit 17 points. 17 points. I mean, that's phenomenal. 7 to 9 shooting.
17 games, so he had to make up a point.
I know. So
I thought you meant bench points for a minute, and I would have believed that because of how bad their bench is.
we had like 55 the other day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Or something.
But
like
we've
that.
had games where we've had like 17 bench points, and it's like, what's going on?
Yeah,
we have to also remember we're playing undermanned Toronto, and like they let up 130 points. Yeah. So like.
And we let up 125 without Van Fleet and without.
Those games are always close though. Like to Boston, Toronto. I don't think they've beaten us this year, but those games are always good. Like,
it's like the Toronto,
it's
the
kind of like
Wiz,
throughout
the
the
Heat.
records.
It's
missing Van Fleet is big, but
if anyone looks at this team though and thinks, as they stand now, we're a contender or a top 3 seed, like
they're the 4 seed right now.
Yeah, but
I think we are where we should be right now.
I don't think so. I think if we don't make a move, we're in trouble.
Well, the big fish is Jeremy Grant, right?
I don't think it works with us though.
Yeah, I think he would.
We just have another ball. It's just super ISO ball.
No, he doesn't play ISO. He's another Tatum type. So we would just be long and small, if that makes sense.
We might be better defensively, but I don't think offensively it would give us any momentum. I'm sick of the ISO ball.
He doesn't play. He attacks the rim.
I'm talking in general with Jalen Tatum. Like it seems like Brad has a strategy for every quarter. Like the first quarter is Kemba, the second quarter is Jalen, or like the first quarter is Jalen, the second quarter is Kemba, or like Kemba's in the mix. But it seems like he's switching off with Jalen and Tatum quarter by quarter to sort of get them going. It's still ISO ball. It's frustrating. Like.
They've cut down on it, but I don't know. I think a lot of that is just the NBA nowadays. That like
it's not.
Like we notice it because we watch.
No, it's neither Jalen or Tatum are one-on-one players in my mind. Like Tatum's shown flashes of it, and so have Jalen. Like Jalen's very quick. Tatum has shown more burst this year. He started. I think the last 10 games is he's been going to the hoop and he's been getting foul calls. Like he's been going to free throws.
He had that dunk and then he had the putback too.
So like I like to see Tatum driving the basket. I want more of that. I want more of him close to the basket because we've fallen in love with live or die by the threes with this starting lineup, or with this Celtics team in general. Post Tatum up, have him do the fadeaway, send Jalen on some backdoor cut. Like it's just it doesn't. It's they're not being creative with the offense, and what I mean by creative is like. They're not playing basketball.
Yeah,
like their personnel movement alone and their spacing.
It looks like they're trying to fill stats.
It looks like they're trying to have 2-on-5.
Yeah.
Every offensive trip, it's like it's a pick and roll or it's Tatum and then Kemba going off like screen.
When Semi and Grant have good shooting games, it works.
Right, because they just sit in the corners. Yeah, but
it's hard to rely on
dying by the corner 3, which is like
the
hardest 3-point shot.
Let's be realistic here, right? Has there ever been a team besides maybe the Warriors who moves that well and wins championships? We watched like the Cavaliers; they go LeBron ISO. You watch the Lakers; they go Kobe ISO. When it's close games, you end up going to that. Stance, and it sucks.
Phil Jackson had a triangle offense. Like he had an offensive plan and rotation.
Okay, I'm talking like 08, because that was Shaq's Lakers.
Kyrie Irving.
Kobe's Lakers were the 08 to 2012 Lakers.
Kyrie's shot in Cleveland was an ISO. He just pulled up for 3.
Yeah. So I am a little worried about the offense, but I do believe that
Cleveland had very good ball movement with LeBron and Kevin Love. But
kind of. I do believe that post All-Star break up until the trade deadline is the make or break for the Celtics. It's
make or break. What is the make and what is the break?
The make is cementing yourself as a top 4 seed in the East and being a legit threat, not a contender, but a threat to at least beat the Bucks. At least
they will not be a legit threat this year. There's no legitimacy with.
They just went 4-0 with Kemba playing all 4 games.
They will not be a legit threat against the Bucks, Nets, or Sixers.
But why?
In no scenario do we win either of those 3 series.
I agree on the Nets, but why the Sixers?
Sixers are right up there with the Nets. But they can dominate us in the paint. We have no matchup for Ben Simmons. And they have better supporting.
Right. Let's not hype up Ben Simmons. He's having a good year, but he's not matchup for what?
He destroyed us the last time with the Sixers.
No threat at all. No threat at all.
Tatum can't guard. Tatum cannot D up Ben Simmons.
Yes, he can.
No, he cannot. No, he can't.
Stop it.
No, he can't.
But
And Robert Williams didn't play that game either.
What?
But no threat at all to the Sixers.
So the top 3, no.
They're literally
as our team stands now and their team stands now, no. We lose that.
So you don't think Robert Williams...
We lose a 7-game series in 5 games.
Okay, so Kemba has no minutes restriction. Robert Williams is up to 25, 27 minutes a game, and you still think we can't beat the Sixers?
That's a whole different scenario of what I said with the team as it stands right now.
No, but that's the direction we're going in. So
I'm not discussing that. I'm saying as the team stands right now, with the personnel and the way we've been playing, we do not beat the Sixers.
So,
Sixers, Nets, or Bucks.
So as the team stands right now, Kemba is playing 30-plus minutes a game. We just won 4 in a row, and Robert Williams played 23 minutes. So as the team stands right now...
Trajectory. Yeah, the personnel.
So I'm just...
We need a piece. We do not beat...
I'll agree with that, but I'm just saying, you don't think this team is trending to be in the mix with at least the Bucks and Sixers? The Nets are winning the East.
No.
You don't think they're trending upward?
Sure, because they have a 4-game winning streak. Like, you can't deny that trend. But the entire season we watched, I don't know if maybe I'm blind or you guys are blind, but the entire season we watched has been fucking this. We started 6-2, so we're gonna finish maybe 5 games over 500. Like, realistically,
I mean,
I don't
there's
even
a lot of games.
realistically, we're 19 and 17
We
right
have a
now.
schedule right here.
To counterpoint to that, Luke, do you not think that the Sixers, who have been up here, you don't? Okay, I mentioned it earlier. They're like 18-3 at home. They're 8-9 on the road. Okay, so that's a flawed team.
They've also had, I think, like a week more week schedule than most.
Here's the
teams.
schedule
Right.
right
So doesn't that mean that they're going to be going this way and the Celtics are going
Not
this way?
necessarily. No, that's.
All right,
no,
so
that's
to that point...
Number 2 in the number 1 in the.
The Sixers have, to your point, the term you love to use, Luke. The Sixers have overperformed this year.
I
They're the one
don't
seed.
believe so.
They can't win on the road. They weren't able to win on the road last year, and we swept them. Okay, so that's a flaw.
They're going to be a higher. They don't need to win on the
The
road.
Sixers are the same
They
team.
don't
as
need
they
to
were
win on the
last
road
year.
in the East to get to the finals if they're the 1 seed.
But they're not going to be the 1 seed because they're going to slip, and the Nets are going to be the 1 seed next
That's
week.
your
100%.
I agree.
I just don't.
Let's
The,
do
the
it.
Celtics are statistically a threat. They haven't even played well, and they're the 4 seed.
But we're just what you sort of prove my point is that you're saying the division is between the Nets and the Sixers. The Celtics aren't in the conversation.
No, we're asking if they're going to be a threat.
All right,
That's not a threat.
All right, so Philly right now...
Threat.
Philly has beaten Brooklyn once. They lost to Denver, and they've split with the Jazz.
Don't look at that because we don't even know who played in those games. To be honest,
I know, but I'm just saying they did beat the Lakers by 1. But everyone has missed games this year. It's the COVID
Yeah,
after
it's very competitive, and it's partly COVID, and it's rest.
You know,
days
so
because of the start of the season.
even if we don't look at it completely analytically,
Mhm.
they've 100% had a softer schedule than us.
Yeah.
100%. We've had a very hard schedule.
Very hard schedule. And it's
in
not going to get any
condensed,
easier
too.
too because it's going to be more condensed. Just for the fact that it's going to be more condensed.
Yeah, but
We'll
I
have
think
more home games, I think, but it's going to be more condensed, which we'll see more rest days. We'll see the holes in our team because of the lack of depth.
No, you're
I'm
right,
just saying,
you're right.
like,
No.
But Luke, to your point though, if the Sixers have had an easy schedule and they have a good record, and we've had a hard schedule and we have a bad record, doesn't that mean that we're more balanced than you? Like, doesn't that mean that the teams are closer than we think?
No. And
No?
the reason I say that is because the Sixers haven't been challenged yet. And if we're taking that on, right? Like, what if the Sixers have a tougher schedule in the second half and perform the same way?
So
they're
But the
automatically a
Celtics
better
have
team.
only been challenged and they're in the mix still.
so. There's
yeah, but they
one
can
thing I
also
want to
fall
look
off.
at when we talk about
Good.
because we're debating this top
They're-
4.
I had them as over 500. I said that. So that's still a successful season.
My point is that the Celtics playing all of the hardest teams. Hold on, the Celtics playing all of the hardest teams are still the 4 seed when they haven't even really played well this season.
Beat Detroit.
The Sixers have cakewalk 2-1 seed right now.
We almost
so when
lost
the Sixers
to the.
play, no, listen to me.
Okay.
Listen to me, because the Sixers are 8-9 on the road right now. Okay.
Yep.
So every year the Sixers have a good record, and everyone's like, oh, they're so good this year. But they can't win on the road. They're the same team as last year. They're still flawed. The Celtics swept them right out of the playoffs last year. This team, the Celtics are improved team over last year's team. The same team that swept Joel Embiid. When Joel Embiid went off against us, one man does not beat you. One guy cannot beat you in a playoff series. The Celtics are 100% improved this season.
We're not improved. Losing Gordon Hayward is not and subbing in Teague and Tristan is not making us better than the 4-man squad we had.
So I agree. I can't make that decision yet. I can see both sides because losing Hayward really put a stumble into our offense. Yeah,
you see.
But Robert Williams,
the Celtics are bigger, and the Jays have both gotten better this year.
They have so that is a concern of mine because I don't think they both got. I think Jalen has definitely taken another leap, but he's also stumbled a few games.
They've been inconsistent.
The inconsistency hurts me, and I think Tatum. We're just starting to see Tatum move towards the improvement I wanted to see, where he's driving more, he's getting.
I want more Kobe ball out of him.
Exactly.
Less shooting
exactly.
outside.
And when he started the season, the live and die by the 3 is killing me, and those terrible. He was taking terrible step backs, and I do like his step back 3. I think it's very unique. Yeah. But he was taking terrible 3-point shots. So I think we're just starting to see Tatum the improvement that I imagined, and it's also hard to give him fault for that because it was such a shortened offseason. I just maybe I expect too much, but I think because of how I've said we've overperformed, I still don't see the leap I'm expecting to be in the mix for a championship or even in the Eastern Conference title.
I want to do something very quick. Players, ranking them in the top 4 seeds, including the Celtics, right? So would you take Embiid over Tatum and Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Kevin Durant? Yes.
Yes.
Kyrie? Most likely. Most likely. James Harden? Most likely. Giannis? Most likely. Simmons? No. Middleton? No. So I do, and then Kemba, right? So Kemba, maybe Simmons over Kemba.
Yep.
Middleton's a different position, so it's hard to compare. But
I take Middleton over them too. I take Middleton over Kemba.
Kemba, but not Tatum and Brown.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so that's fair. So when you look, our big 3 is by far, I think, better than the big 3 of the Sixers, which is Harris and Simmons and Embiid. Tobias, I wanted Harris
this year too. That's the thing is the players that other teams rely on as a third option have played better in my mind than our 3 options. Kemba, his shooting struggles are very concerning.
Sorry, better for their projections individually.
Yes.
So Harris has overperformed for himself.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
And same with Middleton.
Yeah.
Same with
I
Middleton.
can see that. Yep.
Whereas Jalen, Tatum, and Kemba individually, I don't think they performed.
They're kind of on par for what we expected.
Even less than what we expected. But again, it's hard to be at fault because of the shortened offseason. So
and they have had some. I mean, they've had some big waves.
I'm very conflicted in my feelings. I love the Celtics. I hate their offense. I hate Brad's rotations. I hate that we're not even considering other moves. Maybe we are interested in Drummond and that they won't just pull the fucking trigger. If Danny's already come out and said that this is a sort of transition year, we're all in on the Jays, right? That's basically what he said. They talked about trading Kemba in the offseason. Those rumors came out. It's clear that they don't have the team they want. And the fact that Wick is coming out saying obviously this team is as good as we thought. No fucking shit. Yeah. You didn't do anything with the bench except add Teague and a rookie.
At that point, though, let's not forget that other GMs, rumors are that other GMs are pissed at Danny because he tried to trade a bum Kemba.
He tried to trade a bum Kemba.
And he did the same thing with Isaiah Thomas, where he literally got Kyrie Irving for Isaiah Thomas, who couldn't play. So.
Guess what? Danny's done then.
And Colin
if Danny can't make a move, Danny's fucking dead. He's done.
So, a couple of things I have for you guys. One, I want to talk about if we were able to get a legitimate third option. So I mean a Vojcevic, maybe a Jeremy Grant, whatever, a Drummond, and Kemba becomes Kyle Lowry, where you are averaging 10 assists a game, and there's going to be games you have 19 like you did against the Celtics, and you play defense. I think you potentially could, right? Then I'm comfortable with keeping Kemba. But I want to ask you guys a serious question. Is there a legitimate potential trade threat, and we talked about some guys in chasing rings, that puts us over the Sixers, over the Bucks, and maybe at least in the same conversation with the Nets? Is there someone out there that's been rumored that we could legitimately get there?
Vucevic or Drummond, but it doesn't work because our depth right now is that big. So we would also have to probably flip Tristan and Tice or Tice to either make that happen, give us the right amount of personnel, or like try to get
Part two, who's more appealing, Tice or Thompson? I think Tice, right?
Yeah.
He's a couple years younger, and he has a different side of his game.
Agency. I don't know, but maybe we're stuck with him.
I
I
know.
know.
So, I agree. I think Vucevic giving us a legitimate 5 who scores consistently could get us pretty close. And Drummond's at 20 and 15 guy.
Considerably, yeah.
So, is there a move in your guys' mind that gets us over the Sixers, over the Bucks, and in the conversation with the Nets?
Not this year.
No? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't know if the Bucks are. I know they're ahead of us in the standings. I don't know if the Bucks are
Bucks-
better.
It's hard because they're deep.
They're not deep. They're not as deep as they were in the years previous, though, in my opinion. Like the Drew trade, it didn't really cripple them, but like DiVincenzo's been playing well, but besides that, off their bench, like they haven't.
Portis has been solid.
Connaughton
is okay.
Connaughton hasn't taken that leap. Like I'm not afraid of their bench. I'm more afraid of like how Middleton's playing, how we would guard
Middleton's
Giannis,
unreal.
how Drew would play against Kemba. Like I'm worried more about the 5-on-5 than anything.
See, the Bucks in the past were way bigger than the Celtics, and that was a problem. But now that we have Rob's emergence, and now that we have
And the Twins,
Tristan,
yeah.
I feel like it's a much different story where it's like, I don't know. I mean, you saw, I think it was Marcus Smart last time we played the Bucks, where like you just take a charge for Giannis. Giannis does the same thing every time. Vic's talked about this. I hate Giannis too. I don't like him.
So one-dimensional.
He just goes to the basket every time, and it's like he doesn't shoot the 3, right? He's not like Embiid.
He can't
He-
shoot.
yeah.
He's
Right, he
not
can't
a good
shoot.
shooter. Yeah.
So all you have to do is take a charge or put a big guy in front of him. Now that we have size, I'm not as worried about the Bucks.
It does give us some freedom too, because like now Tristan can even like beat
can
up
cover
Giannis
Giannis,
because
yeah.
Giannis can't shoot from like outside 15 feet.
But that's like for some reason, like you just said that. I'm like, and that's when Brad goes small ball.
Exactly.
Puts Thompson on
And then-
Giannis,
and
and then
Giannis
Tatum's
posts up.
covering
Exactly.
a big man.
Also,
Like
what
it's
is he
just
doing with Taco Fall?
who cares about Taco?
He's taking up a roster spot.
Remember when I said
Well,
that last year that it's a
all right,
sideshow.
Hold on, let's just be clear about this. I think you keep forgetting you don't carry 15 in regular seasons.
Yeah, they're saying
You carry 13
because of the COVID. They're giving him extra roster spots, so he would be. In the
So
gym.
normally he'd be in the gym.
Yeah.
So it's like he's just here
It's
to
tough. It's tough,
intimidate
yeah.
people.
All right, that's different then.
Yeah.
But honestly, first of all, no one's been stopping Embiid right now, so it doesn't matter who the Celtics. They could triple team
Embiid
him.
would put stop him on his fucking ass.
It would be nice though, just for like a couple.
Yeah,
of
I agree.
Poof into a cloud of dust.
I would give Taco minutes against Embiid because Embiid isn't super athletic, so I don't think he would necessarily go around him.
He's already
Embiid's up. He's my MVP candidate. I'm
he's
not.
already torching the Celtics, so why not throw something out there and see like, oh,
Who's 5 inches taller?
Yeah, let's have Brad experiment more with the fucking lineup. Let's do it.
no, just against the dominant beings like the Embiids and. I guess
So Kyle, do you think there's someone out there that could get us into the top 2 mix with the Nets?
Vucevic, I think, would be an upgrade. I would rather get rid of Tristan. I would not get rid of Tice because he can shoot, and I think Tice has got a mid-range game and
This is
everything.
improved, yeah.
But yeah, like you said, that sports thing, the clutch sports, has got me thinking differently. But
Dude, he scared the shit out of me now. Like, I'm fucking stuck. And
Yeah,
I like
but
our
if
mix,
we're
too.
stuck with
Yeah.
Tristan, I think we've been in worse spots for sure. Like last year's team was way smaller. So.
Yeah, if we got an Eric Gordon or someone like legitimate to come off the bench at the 3 or whatever, then I'm perfectly fine with our ones and our bigs, and that would give us the 3rd. Because Brad, the last week or so, has done a much better job with substituting Jalen and Tatum to keep the benches somewhat, or the rotation somewhat solid.
Competitive.
There was times they were both sitting and Kemba was by himself, and I'm like, guys, Kemba can't carry that anymore.
Yeah, and
this
that's
isn't
when
the
he's
Hornets.
super ISO ball.
Yeah.
Super. And
Yeah.
that's when he goes 1 for 13 from 3. Because
Yeah.
he's just doing pick and rolls and pulling up a 3.
But then you see the like Teague, Pritchard, Neesmith with Tatum and Rob, and it's like that works. So it's like he's I know it's crazy, but I think that if we could get a legitimate 2 or a 3 that can shoot and score off the bench consistently, even a Lou Williams, which sounds crazy, but someone who can consistently score off the bench, we're getting up there. I'm really not worried about the Bucks, but I think the Sixers have. The roster that the Sixers have is an NBA winning roster. Now, is it the best and most talented? No, but it reminds me of like the Mavericks of 2011, where there's good talent, but there's just a good team.
Or Detroit, like the old Detroit
Yeah,
Pistons
like
teams where they just have
they have a
one-
guard and they have a big and they
Yeah.
got some bruisers and
Yeah.
some defenders and some shooters. Like it just they all have a role and it's working.
Yeah.
But the road thing is a good red flag you brought up.
Because this has been years now that they haven't been able to win on the road.
Doc Rivers has never won without KG and Pierce.
He also
Just kidding.
barely won on the road during that finals run.
I know.
Yeah, honestly, as much as we like Doc, like he hasn't proven himself that he can get over the hump in the playoffs.
Everyone thought the Clippers would have won a championship and they never got there. But looking at this team, Torrey Craig they haven't really used. I mean, Antetokounmpo's brother has played 26 games.
Shake Milton. Are you looking at the Sixers?
The Bucks.
Oh, the Bucks. Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah, I don't think his brother's not.
Giannis,
He's just the Giannis guy. Yeah.
no, I know, but I'm saying he's played 26 games, so that really shows they're not as deep as I thought. Holiday's been in and out of the lineup, but Portis, Lopez, DiVincenzo, those are kind of the cores coming off the bench. So this team really
DiVincenzo was starting with Drew. It was Drew, DiVincenzo. He was starting.
Middleton, Giannis, and Lopez.
Yeah.
So you said, Vic, your question was like, what makes them a threat? Luke, you're saying we're not a threat right now, even if we continue to trend upwards.
No. I said with the team as it stands now, I don't see us trending upwards. I see this being just basically that uptick before the drop off based on their inconsistencies. Like we're floating in an ocean right now, so the waves are going to turn every week to week. So I don't see this team as it stands now competing with those three.
I hope that they turn this corner. I think they're
I do
starting,
too.
I
I
think
know
they're starting to
it's not
figure it out, and I think they're saying it. I think Kemba is so important. I know I've been a Kemba guy from day one, and I was pissed at him when he was going 1 for 13, 1 for 14, because he had a bad stretch, and it didn't help that he had a bad stretch.
We got
at the same time with the rest.
Potter during those days where we're like, fuck Kemba.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back.
We talked about this before the show. Losing 14 of 21 should never happen in an NBA season. Like not with this roster. They're not a rebuilding team. They're not like bottom of the East. Like they should not have lost that 2/3 of 20 games. Like that's ridiculous. But I think that they hit rock bottom, and I think Kemba was also playing his worst of the season, and I think he had to get back into game shape and get his shooting stroke back. I don't think that he's hurt at all right now. I think he just really needs to get like his legs back.
Yeah, they're just being cautious with him.
Yeah.
That's all.
I don't think he's going to play. I don't know how many back-to-backs they have left, but I'd rather have a fresh Kemba for the regular season at least. Obviously, playoffs comes, he's got to play every game, but I just think he's so important because the Celtics have the Jays, right? And Jalen, I'm worried about because he's hurt right now. I think, and
He has a knee injury.
he's probably going to play in the All-Star game. And like you said, Vic, it's going to be Kemba from last year all over again, where it's like
He
Nick
should-
Nurse isn't coaching
He
the
should
All-Star
fucking
game.
sit out. He should sit out.
he's not sitting out. He's doing the 3-point contest too. He's an absolute
Jalen
moron.
is?
Jalen's doing the 3-point contest,
Oh, I
which
know that.
I'm not worried about him
I
doing
don't
the
mind
3-point
that much,
contest.
yeah.
But that just shows that he's committed. He's committed to the
He's
All-Star.
excited for his first All-Star. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, it's his
not-
first one. It's his hometown. So, but I hope he doesn't play too many. But
Say hometown.
yeah, it's Jalen's hometown.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it's in Atlanta,
right?
Yeah, so, yeah.
That's why it was like a big thing is him getting in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I just think when Kemba's going, to go back to my point. The Celtics have two guys that they know are going to produce, the Jays, and sometimes it's 30 each, and sometimes Jalen's struggling, he had like 15 the other night or whatever. But if they're both healthy, they need a third option, and we're looking for that third option, Vucevic or whatever. But if Kemba is playing like he has the last 4 games, where he's putting 20, 25 a night, he's like lights out shooting
Yeah,
it.
he's doing like
That
4
is the
rebounds, 6
answer.
assists and shit like that.
Yeah, I think he's so important because he's like Kemba kind of determines how far they go. Are they going to be out of the first round, or are they going to have the Jays get double teamed and now Tatum go for 40 and they're still going to lose in the first round?
That's the thing is like that is still seeing Kemba how he's performing compared to how he started to now, and like I'll give him like getting back into the game after missing, like they're barely practicing because of COVID and shit, but like it's just more inconsistency that we have to worry about and like we have to watch for, and we have to like take the hit, and it's like we're still living and dying by the 3. I think that we've seen stretches where Jalen and Tatum will disappear from the lineup and still be on the floor, which doesn't make sense to me because them on the floor should be a benefit to us, whereas they shouldn't be just like standing at the top, like at top of the key, just like letting Kemba and Jalen do their thing. And that's what I mean about iso ball, where it's just like there is no rotation in that offense where all 3 are in the mix. It's either 1 or 2. It's never 3, and it's primarily just 1 of the 3 a time on the offensive end. And I think that they're doing a better job of Jalen and Tatum specifically are doing a better job of being in the game when they're not performing offensively. Like they're grabbing rebounds. We've seen them both have like 8 or 9 assists a game, right?
Tatum's
Like
assists have been much better.
exactly, yeah. So like they're still getting involved in the game, but I don't like their facial expressions when they're struggling.
Yeah.
Like they're not in the mix, and it's like you're doing nothing to get them going. You're not getting to the basket. You're just setting them up to try to do a contested 3 again, or give Tatum iso ball to do a step back. It just doesn't make sense to me.
So looking at like,
And that's on Brad.
I know, fucking Brad. So looking at this All-Star break, do we think that it's time for Kemba to play every game, essentially every game? And I don't mean like the rest of the 40 games, but I mean like if it's a back-to-back, you play it. If it's 5 games in 7 nights, maybe you sit one of them. But I mean like,
I think you still be cautious.
why?
Because we need him for the playoffs.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here, right now we're the 4 seed. Every time he misses a game, we lose. And then the next team it's hideous because they lost their chemistry, they lost their spark. We're 2 games over 500. If it keeps going in this direction, we're gonna finish at 500 or less, and we're gonna be the 7th seed. What's the point of the season? What's the point of it?
Things will be different with Marcus Smart back.
Kemba. I'm sorry.
Things will be different with Marcus
I'm
Smart back. He will fill in for Kemba. Or
If
he
Kemba
will
blows
fill in
out
for
his
Kemba.
knee, he blows out his knee. That's where I'm
No,
at.
you can't.
But why? We're nothing without him, and we're nothing with
We
him.
were fine without him to start the season.
But that's the issue. Now he plays 3 out of 4 games. We get this chemistry going. We win 4 in a row, and then he sits the next one.
Basketball shouldn't be this fucking hard.
Question
It
for you
shouldn't be
though,
this
Vic.
fucking hard.
To Luke's point though, wouldn't you rather be cautious with Kemba for the regular season, at least for
We
this year?
can't win without him
You
right now.
have to.
We
No,
can't
no,
win
but
without
we're
him right
not-
now.
Exactly.
Well,
So
wait, the question
then the
is though,
season's a wash because we're not going to compete with the Bucks,
But that's
with
what-
the Sixers, or with
but
the Nets.
that-
You prove my point.
That's my point. That you need to just go for it. And if he gets hurt, he gets hurt, and you move on, right? So that's just so.
but
Say
wouldn't
he
you rather go full blown in the playoffs? So when Marcus, I think so. Sorry, to your point, you say we can't win with Kemba because we're missing like the offense, right? Essentially,
just the chemistry, the whole vibe. You can see it
and doesn't
in
Marcus replace that when he comes back?
maybe.
Marcus's average is still, I think, leading the team in assists.
Probably, but that's a hypothetical, and that's fine. We can always factor in hypotheticals. But my point is right now that if Kemba continues to play on this schedule where he misses every 4th game, and then the next team we're kind of at a lull, and you see Jalen and Jason don't want to be there when Kemba doesn't play. You can see it at the start of the game. Their energy is dead. Maybe it's because they're on a back-to-back too. I don't know. And honestly, I'd be pissed.
Tatum's playing. They're
He's
both
making
playing a lot of minutes.
he's making $32 million a year,
Yeah.
and he gets to sit on back-to-backs. Well, guess what? Jalen's knee's messed up. He wants to
Yeah.
sit on back-to-backs.
Like,
Ta-
Tatum was playing like 40 minutes a game, like
So
39 minutes a game.
I'd be kind of pissed too. Like, oh, my big 3 needs to sit every other game. Like, I would kind of be pissed too. So I get their energy, but I'm just at the point now where it's like we need to be all in. And basketball is all about run. So if they don't figure it out, but anyway, let's move on. I want to talk about, because we're running tight on time, I want to talk about management. Okay, Danny Ainge has had this weird up and down. Okay, and I'm going to go back to the beginning. I'm going to be as quick as possible, and I want you guys in. So back in 03-04 when we signed him, he said, I have a 5-year plan to rebuild this team. Danny Ainge won a couple NBA championships with the Celtics. He was great with the Suns as a player. He came in and he drafted nobodies upon nobodies. I mean, he hit with Rondo, he hit with Perkins, and he hit with Al Jefferson.
That's smart.
Tony Allen, no, but I'm talking career, right?
Yeah.
So he hit on a few guys, but kind of, right?
Jeff Green.
He didn't draft Jeff Green. He traded him for Ray Allen. I know, it's okay. I'm a savant. Okay? All right. The year before his 5th year, a big 5-year plan, we were garbage. We had Paul Pierce and nobody, Ricky Davis, whatever. Like, it was a joke.
Ricky Davis was fun, but yeah.
He trades it all away, and he gets KG and Ray with, like, no bench, but he made some moves that he ended up finding a bench, and we won, right? Lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, veterans.
Some of it lucky, right? You have to say this is luck. Other guys have tried
No,
this.
it's chemistry, and it's...
Okay, but hold on. Let me finish. I want to make this up, right? Some of that is luck, but he hit there. Okay, he made the wheeling and dealing. He got Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen, 2 absolute first ballot Hall of Famers.
Leon Poe, baby.
You know, so then you fast forward, he breaks it all up, and he gets the 2nd best trade in history in the Celtics.
might be the best trade in history.
You know, getting Tatum, Brown, Smart, and then he flipped one of those to get Kyrie, and then the Cavs got Sexton, right? So then you look at it, you flash forward even further. He got Kyrie Irving, one of the best point guards in basketball. Didn't work out.
It's not our fault.
He got Gordon Hayward, you know, a great all-star forward. Didn't work out with the injury.
His head coach in college. They couldn't make him happy.
Well, he also was injured off and on every year.
Yeah.
Then you look and you got Kemba Walker. He also traded for Isaiah Thomas. Danny Ainge has done a ton, and he has been so active. So I have to look at it in 2 ways. he has done a phenomenal job of bringing some huge names to Boston where people say we're not a destination team because we're cold weather and we're a racist town, whatever. He's done a great job bringing them in. But this is the third, fourth, fifth deadline in a row that he's not going to make a move. Mm-hmm. So what do you look at, and where do you draw the line? Because he really has. There's probably not a team in the league that has brought in the names and faces that we have over the last 12 years.
Gave him a nice cushion, right? And now that cushion is shrinking.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to ask you guys. Yeah. Is it, like, if he doesn't make a move at this deadline and we go 1 and done in the playoffs, or 0 and done in the playoffs, I guess you'd call it, should Danny be fired?
Danny should be fired anyway because he can't make a trade. Like, you have GMs that won't trade with him specifically because it's Danny Ainge. And he's trying to pull these moves.
But he still drafted Tatum and Brown and Smart. But he got Kemba Walker here. He had Kyrie here. So he has made deals.
He drafted Tatum and Jalen because they were top 5 picks. He
hasn't
done anything else.
So Tatum was the number 1 pick in that draft.
It's very hard to miss on a top 5 pick. We've seen it happen in the past, but it's very hard to miss on a top 5
That's
pick.
not true.
In the NBA, we were just looking at the redraft the other night with the 2014 draft or whatever. There's a lot of guys that missed.
Yeah,
but those are different drafts.
I mean, Markelle Fultz. Dude.
Don't put your hand on my again.
I mean, you could be the Timberwolves and draft Darko Milicic over Carmelo Anthony and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh.
I know you like Fultz, Vic, but I mean, Fultz over Tatum was a mistake.
Yeah, of course. So anyway, so I just want to ask you guys: if he does not draft,
so you can't see it coming.
I know. If he does not make a trade or sign a free agent at this deadline, which is 2.5 weeks away, and we do nothing in the playoffs, should Danny Ainge be fired?
Yes.
Yeah, because the Jays are so good that you're wasting one of their prime. They're not quite in their prime years yet, but they're
on their cusp.
Yeah,
they're gonna be what 28, 27 and 28 when their contracts set to expire.
Yeah, which is about your prime right now in the NBA.
I mean, they'll get supermax contracts at the end of those contracts, but like
I think they have to make at least one move, even if it's kind of a minor move. I think they have to do something.
If they don't make it to an NBA championship within the next 3 years, I could see them leaving. I can see them.
I leave 3 years. God, dude, I hope it doesn't take that long.
That's the thing. They've already been in 4 Eastern Conference Finals. Like,
yeah,
they're gonna get frustrated.
So it's interesting because we all feel like what should happen and then what will happen, right? So like, if Danny doesn't make a move, it's like, what do you say, 5 years in a row? Is that what it was on the trade deadline?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty that's
pathetic.
That's pathetic, I guess,
Yeah.
right? But the thing is, Rick Grossbeck this week said,
I saw that.
You know, we have the Jays for 4 years, and we're going to use the 4 years. We're not,
which is a terrible excuse.
Yeah, we're not trying now. He said we have them for 4 years, so we're not wasting the 3 years between. We're trying. Basically, what I'm saying is, you know, we think something different, but they don't. If Danny doesn't do anything, and we don't make the playoffs, we make the playoffs. It doesn't matter. If Wick thinks that he's the guy, he's saying.
So you think they have like this Jalen and Jason 5-year plan?
Essentially, yes.
Which
could that's what Danny's also said.
Which could realistically be okay, right?
That's what I'm saying. Though Wick said that this week on Toucher and Rich or whatever. So if he said that and Danny said that, they're all on the same page. They all agree. The Celtics right now. They came right out and said Danny this week. On Thursday, Wick on Wednesday.
They
said it's not good.
But he's saying it's not good, but then they all have each other's backs. Like, it's almost like they agree that we all suck. They're like,
they collectively
100%.
agree we have to improve, but no one's going anywhere.
So if you're,
I don't know why I'm the asshole. What I'm saying.
So if you're Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and you're hearing this and you're like, so you're just expecting me to average 40 and 40 next year? Like, is that what you want? Because
it doesn't look like they're trying.
Because I'm sorry, they're averaging 50 points a game combined. They're averaging 12, 13 rebounds, like probably 12 assists now between the two of them too. You can only expect so much more.
Guess what? We overproduced. I already said that. We had a choice to make. We could either take a full step backwards or take a full step forwards. We didn't. We hit right down the middle. We signed Teague and Tristan Thompson, which improved our team that we had after Hayward left, right? So we're automatically more competitive than we were with just letting Hayward go for nothing.
Yeah.
We're in no man's land. We had the choice after 4 Eastern Conference Finals to either take that necessary step back to be realigned, be like, hey, Jalen and Tatum, they're our guys. Let's blow it up. Let's rebuild. Have the conversations with them. Like, listen, we want you guys here. We're going to put the right people around you, but we need to start over and make your team. Maybe Brad's still a part of it. Maybe he's not. Whatever. You can have those conversations. Or you say, hey, we need to fucking make a move and get to this NBA final to make our players hungry, to make people want to come here, and they didn't do that. And now we're still in no man's land. We're not going to make a move. We're gonna, I don't know, add pieces next year. Like I can see Tristan and Teague both leaving next year.
Well, they're both signed. So.
I know, but we're gonna have to find trade pieces for them, and it's just like, and you drafted Naismith, who's not fucking playing. You have Langford, who isn't playing because of an injury, but even before that,
how long is he gonna be hurt? Honestly,
it's a wrist too.
Is this the most complicated wrist surgery I've ever seen? Like what's?
Yeah, well, it's the same one he broke in college.
Which is
so
very
now
concerning.
He's been hurt for like over a year.
So anyway,
yes.
One last question for you guys. I just want a straight answer of the multiple choice.
I hate myself. Yeah.
At the deadline, will there be a move? So a trade, free agent, or no move? That's the answer. Trade, free agent, or no move?
What is going to happen?
Yeah.
What's your prediction? Just answer. Trade, free agent, or no move?
They're going to do a trade because they have to do a trade.
They do what they do. They're not making a move. They don't care what we say.
I think they will use a veteran minimum on someone. I don't know who that
Like a
is.
Beasley, Thomas,
No,
Cousins,
I don't
whatever.
even that.
I could sign something.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a chance.
I
of
agree. I
trade.
think they'll sign someone for the veteran minimum.
I have a weird feeling that Joe Johnson's going to be the move. He played pretty well for the U.S. team, but I'm
He's
going to
45 years old.
He looks like
I don't give a shit.
He looks like
Fine.
he's 60.
He-
Wait, is that
I
the
don't
same
give a
Joe
shit.
Johnson?
Yeah.
It sounds, but he's so
When
he's
he's playing against Paul Pierce?
Yes.
Yeah, played with Paul Pierce.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so he's like 6'9", 6'10". He just sits in the corner and shoots threes. It sounds crazy,
God.
but we drafted him.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
drafted
back
him.
in '95.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling you, it's a weird move. He played with Thomas on the U.S. team, and he looked good. He just shot
You
threes.
know what
He
sucks
wants
about
$1.5 million. Like that's not.
He's gonna take $670
You know
grand.
what sucks about setting the standard similar to how the Patriots did for 20 years now? Because we've been to 3 out of 4 Eastern Conference Finals. To me, this season is a failure. Everything, very minimum bar is East Final.
Kyle,
East Finals
this is
year.
what I said at the start of the season. Is that I just said we had a choice to make, and we decided to be middle of the
All right, guys, thank you for watching the most frustrating Celtics talk show because we all love and hate the Celtics.
But Luke's
more
still
than
right,
anything.
so you're welcome. For
Yeah, we
always
got
being
pessimists,
right.
we got optimists.
But before we go, we should do the next 4 games still, I think.
Oh,
What?
don't
Next
even
4
get me
games?
fucking
No,
started.
we'll catch them next week after the All-Star break. But next 4 games, we do have Brooklyn, Houston, Utah, and Cleveland. Just another battle to start. Yeah, Brooklyn right off the rip.
1-3, baby. 1-3, baby.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we're going to beat Brooklyn. Yikes! All right, thanks, guys.
let's leave.
Appreciate you watching. Tommy
Bye.
Points, we out.
Go Celts.